Hello, my friends. Thank you very much for the invitation to address this high-level event of the Maltese presidency. I would very much like to have been with you in person, but unfortunately that hasn't proved possible, and I appreciate that you've allowed me to present just a few thoughts by way of video. Dear friends, back in 2006, I was one of the experts involved in the drafting of an instrument known as the Yogyakarta Principles. It was a very early reflection of the application of human rights law regarding people of diverse sexual orientations and gender identities. And I'd have to say, looking back now, it dealt only in the most timid and implicit way with issues of intersex. How much progress is shown then in the extent to which in 2015, one of my predecessors as Commissioner, Niels Muijnieks, produced such a highly detailed and elaborated report on the topic. And then, again, just a few years after that, the EU agency of which I was then director, the Fundamental Rights Agency, began to measure the lived human rights experience of members of intersex communities across Europe in what was then and still is the largest survey of its kind in the world. And then we get today, in 2025, to this momentous moment of the adoption by the Committee of Ministers of a recommendation on the topic. This is a globally significant moment. The recommendation is broad, all-embracing. The recommendation it goes to the heart of the lived experience of members of the intersex communities, and the recommendation identifies the responsibilities of different actors, including, very importantly, equality bodies and national human rights institutions. And for me, most important of all, this recommendation does not write new law. This recommendation does not create new human rights. All that the recommendation does is support a pathway whereby human rights can be better enjoyed by members of the intersex communities. Now, the work is really only starting because there's a massive project now needed of an investment in dissemination and awareness raising, not just about the recommendation itself, but of its contents, the pathways towards better respect for human rights. This is going to require a major sustained effort by the Council of Europe, and I recognise today's event is the beginning of that, but also at the national level, by those NHRIs, by those equality bodies, by governments themselves. And my friends, let me assure you that in this continuing work, which will need to be focused and sustained, you can count on my full support and the complementarity of my own actions. Thank you.